Adhocracy News, June 5th, 2017. Today's top stories.
Clothes are a lifesaver.
Fearless girl gets a visitor.
Kathy Griffin goes too far.
Hello, I'm David Landeen.
And I'm JD Melville, and welcome to Adhocracy News, your weekly source for advertising, marketing, art, and design, where we cover the cool, the weird, the creepy, any of those things in the news.
I think we have all of those for this week.
Absolutely. We've covered the gamut, I believe.
Yes, we have. So let's get right to it and go on to today's top 5 stories.
In a clever juxtaposition of images, the Salvation Army's new campaign, which was created by W. McCann in Brazil, shows clothes are just as much as a lifesaver as, say, a lifesaver.
Not the candy.
No. An actual, life preserver from a boat. So okay. The campaign is, it's simple, it's clever. It shows a lifeboat preserver, and it's actually in this crocheted, texture, kind of showing clothes can actually save lives just as much as something else, right? They also have a fire extinguisher that has, a puffy jacket material, which kind of looks cool. I kind of want to grab it.
Yeah, I know. Well, you wonder if they actually work.
Maybe they do.
Maybe they do work. Maybe if you squeeze the collar and all.
Do you think it's just foam?
It's probably fluffing.
Fluffing, so, the jacket just deflates.
Yeah,
but that wouldn't put out a fire.
We'd probably add to the fire. Maybe the fires.
I think we're overthinking it.
Probably, yeah. All right, so we'll just move on from there. Fearless girl, the famous statue that is standing fearless against the Bull of Wall Street, got a visitor for a little while this week. Artist Alex Gardega, installed a little pug with a foot raised up towards the fearless girl right next to her. Yes, this pug was peeing, not actually because it was a sculpture, but on the fearless girl. And it was there for about 7 hours when they asked this Alex guy about his intent
yeah.
And why he kind of said he's not anti-feminist, but he felt compassion to the artist of the bull, Arturo de Modico, and just wanted to show that adding a piece of art can change the meaning of the first piece of art. So he added this little pug. He was there for 7 hours. He actually came and took it himself because he said, I had no right to bolt it there. So, he came and took his little peeing pug away. But he just wanted to show that, it can actually change the meaning of a piece of art if you add something to it.
He also seemed to say that the piece itself is sort of just it's not necessarily just a piece of art.
Yeah,
it's sort of corporate advertising. It's a corporate piece of something because though the piece may have been intended, it's sort of just advertising something else.
Yeah. So the ongoing saga of Fearless Girl continues.
Very nice. Our next story, in the continued look of content versus advertising, YouTube actually came out and clarified their new guidelines that they've been using and what it will be. So this guideline includes describing hateful content as any video that promotes discrimination or disparages or humiliates people on the basis of race, ethnicity, nationality, religion, disability, age, veteran status, sexual orientation, gender identity, or other characteristics associated with systematic discrimination.
So stupidity, that's not in there. That would kind of ruin YouTube right there. There'd be no videos.
We want to see the stupidity.
Yeah. I mean, humiliating people based on stupidity, that's kind of like what most of those videos are.
Yeah. So a lot of the videos, if they are found to be non-advertising friendly, if the content is of these such, they will not be eligible for ad revenue. Some of them can still exist on YouTube unless they go too far into discrimination to some of these things. Then they will actually be removed. So
we'll have to see whether this eases the worries of the advertisers, because there have been a lot pulling out.
Yeah,
and
because it's definitely a balance between the two. People who want to be creative and sometimes being objectionable creates more watch time. People want to see that stuff.
Yeah. So if this heals adpocalypse.
Adpocalypse. Yeah, because the other thing with it, I mean, you've got people on both sides kind of raising their hands, going like,
well, what are we supposed to
what
do?
are we supposed to do? Because you've got music videos that show hate, discrimination, sexual, situations that don't get blocked because they're from big music labels. Where the tiny guys, you do anything close to that, and you get...
Well, and also countries out there. There are other countries where there are certain. I mean, are they now dictating what countries who don't have the same standards or same values as the U.S. can and can't create? We trying to pose our values on other countries.
That's an interesting question.
If you show a woman in a full hijab, people say, well, that's discrimination. Are they going to be blocked on there, even though it's a cultural thing that's completely acceptable in the country? We'll have to see. Who knows? But this probably isn't over.
Probably not.
Well, men are having issues with fashion.
We're bored of it.
We are bored with fashion. Women get everything.
Or at least that's what it seems like.
That is what it seems like. But women do have... If you look at a department store, you see the corner for guys and the rest of the store for girls. Because there's variety in fashion. They have their skirts, they have their dresses, they have their pants, they have their tops, they have their... they're just... there's everything. And we have shirt pants. And your shirt could have buttons.
Hey, there's a sports section for men.
There's a sports section. You're right. Well, we're taking care of that, men, aren't we? You may have seen the Rompim.
Which is a clever wordplay on the romper. So the woman's fashion romper.
Yeah.
Her changing with him.
Yeah. Which is the one-piece short sleeve shirt, short combo, which they added a zipper for the fly, which we appreciate. So way to think that one out. But the latest one is lace clothing.
No.
Yes, that's right. That recently came out. Lace clothing for men, shirt and shorts. I don't know if maybe this is a global warming issue where I think it's just getting too hot. And so we just have to, we need something that's more breathable, because really there's not much to this. I mean, it's lace.
No one wants to see how hairy I am under a nice, beautiful lace.
Well,
no one wants to see that.
Hey, you know what?
I don't want to see that.
Apparently people do, because they're coming out with this stuff.
Ooh.
So we'll have to see what's next. Who knows? Maybe Scotland will come over, and all of a sudden our video about the about what's it called?
About the tartan.
The tartan will be huge, because all of a sudden it's acceptable for guys. It's acceptable for guys to wear skirts, and what better skirt than a kilt?
I was actually thinking about that this past week, because there were some people in the office who were wearing a nice dress skirt, but it was a short, not a short skirt, but it was a skirt. And if your company has a policy on whether or not you can wear shorts or when you can wear shorts, I was like, but
yeah,
can I wear my kilt? I want to wear my kilt. Not really. I don't want to wear my kilt. It's good to dress up in, but it's a little too breezy sometimes. Easy breezy. Well, those are some interesting men's fashions. I wonder what other fashions they're going to try to adopt.
But you have to wonder whether these fashions will stick around or whether they will go the way of...
Of course they're going to go away.
I know, but
hammer pants
and
hammer
Jinko
pants came
pipes.
back for a minute. Jinko. I had Jinkos that I could fit both legs into one pant leg. That's how awesome those were.
Yeah.
So this past week you may have noticed a little bit of a spat between Donald Trump.
Well, that's pretty regular.
Yeah, and Kathy Griffin. A little less
regular, but. Yes, I did notice that.
So you may have noticed there was an image that came out that was done by an artist, a photographer, of Kathy Griffin actually holding a mask or what looked like a severed head of Donald Trump. So that came out, and there was backlash all over the place, right? It was an image that went too far. I mean, it is gross. It is a little bit rough to look at, and not something you really want to see. No. And so she came back. She had a press conference where she was ruined. Her and her group were calling, this censorship of what was happening. She was let go from CNN. She was let go from hosting the New Year's Eve party that she had been doing. And this isn't anything new. I mean, artists have done these kind of things, these depictions, and they kind of get away with it because of parody or political satire. Yeah. It's not it's not some promise. It's them making fun of, you've got the political leaders kissing. You can go all the way back. There's even an image of, what's his name? Bob Dole with his head as a Dole pineapple. Oh. That people really disliked. But here's one of the things. With Kathy being more of a public figure, someone who's a little bit, up there, a lot of these other times, these are artists who, try to knock them off their pedestal. Their pedestal's pretty small. Knock Kathy over, she's a big public figure. There's going to be some big consequences to you choosing a side, to you doing something that graphic, really. Yeah, I probably definitely has to do with using a public figure in there. And what's interesting is that the artist didn't get the backlash. Yeah. The person in there who agreed to do it. So it really shows the power of power. Power of power. Well, it's interesting. It's interesting. The news climate that we have right now is so reactionary on both sides. Something happens, it reacts. More story comes out, then the other side react. Like, it just keeps going. Yeah. And so I think in some ways you can do some of this political satire. You can kind of bring out stuff that may be a little bit harsh, but you're going to have, when half the nation, voted for Donald Trump, or at least half the people that voted, half of the voting base, half of the electoral votes went to Donald Trump. You're going to at least see half the world that is going to disagree with this. So yeah. In such a political climate, doing these kind of political moves is going to have some kind of backlash. Yeah, but they went for a reaction and they got it. They did get a reaction. All right, well, what stories did we miss this past week? What stories did you see that we didn't cover? And remember, if you see a story that you want us to cover, you should send it to us. Yeah, and if you like what you saw here and want to learn more about stories and things like that, click the subscribe button, and that'll let you know when we have new episodes. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And thank you so much for liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing to our videos. Now, to start your week, here is a video to watch.
And by the way, if the image photos on the Kickstarter page don't do it for you, they made a video so you can see what kind of romping good times are ahead.